Hi everyone, nice to be back here. My name is Vivian Muhati Mururi. This is Woman with Intent. My apologies for not being here the last few weeks, but we are back and we thank God for everything. As I promised during the last video, today we are tackling the topic, different folks, different folks. Why different folks, different strokes? We are different as an individual, as a group of people. We are unique depending on our needs and wants. And it is in this difference that our uniqueness comes out. It is in this difference where we know our weakness and our strength. We know where to place ourselves in terms of our giftings, our talents, and what God has blessed us with. Let us take it a bit further. We are different in way we see things, the way we perceive things, the way we look at things, the way we argue out things, because of the different environments and basic places we've been and how we've been raised up. We are different in the way we look. Some are light, some are dark, some tall, some short. Even in temperaments, we are different, extroverts, introverts. But therein lies our uniqueness. Therein lies what God gives us as an individual, our uniqueness as an individual. You might be wondering, why different strokes, different folks? It is only through this, when you keenly look into this, that you're able to know how to impact others, where your strengths lies and your weaknesses lies. Let's look at families, the families we come in. Family as a unit, it's the base. This is where our being defined as the nature or essence of a person. Why is it important? Because it is here that we grow up, here that we are shaped, here that our beliefs, our values, our morals are shaped. It is the base of everything. When you see how your parents do things, how the place you've been raised from people do things, it forms the person you become. It forms the woman you will become. It forms how you perceive and look at things, how you argue out things. Even through our cultural beliefs, how the culture we come in as different people, we look at things differently. That is why you go to one culture and you're thinking higher. From my culture, this is what we do, this, and it means this. And probably in another culture, it's offensive, but that is how we are. And it is in this same difference that makes us unique, makes us probably rich in culture. Like our Maasai culture in Kenya is very rich. Why? Because of the beliefs that they have. We look at it. Then from family, we grow and go to school, and here we now start looking at things differently in terms of socialization, how we socialize with others, because now we are meeting different people from our family. Remember, the first place was a family where your beliefs are shaped and informed. Now you start mingling with other people as well, seeing the diverse, seeing the difference of how they do things. In school you go, you meet children from other communities, children from other backgrounds. Probably if you're not coming from a family where people are able differently, this is where you might also see those people. We go, if you're a religious family, you go to church and you meet other families and you see how different they are in doing things. And this still influences how we pick things, because it is a pick and drop. From your family, you are formed. You come, and the socialization aspect also brings in another aspect. Things that you will pick, you're like, this could be good for me, this might not be good for me. In school, you meet people who have same interests with you, probably a few interests with you, and you can flow together and reason together, and others who you would not reason with. But all this makes us unique, makes us different, makes us live a purposeful life depending on what God has put in us. God created a woman in his ultimate glory and fame, and a woman is fashioned in God's own image. Do you really think God did not know what he was doing? He knew he has a purpose for each and every one of us. Each and every one of us. Why then is this important for us to learn? It is because we are an emotional being. As women, we are moved by our emotions. We react to things from an emotional point of view. We look at things mostly at the emotional, and that is how we are wired. That is how God has created us. So there's nothing wrong with it. But this brings in a lot of conflicts, and being emotional, we carry a lot of burdens. So why different folks, different strokes? It's because it will help you know how to handle different people. It will make you know how to handle different people. It will make you get to have boundaries when dealing with people to minimize the conflict that can be there. Am I saying conflicts are bad? No, conflicts are good, but healthy conflicts are good. When a conflict surpasses what it's meant to teach you, then it's something else. So why this topic important? Because then out of this makes us learn boundaries on how to work with one another. Remember, we are about passing on the baton and mentoring. Older woman, younger woman, older woman. So if you learn this and embrace somebody with their differences, with their strengths and weaknesses, of which all of us have, then it makes us have a better place to do more in the society, in the church, at our workplaces, and achieve the purpose that God has called us to as women. I'm so passionate about women being intentional, because I know when a woman is intentional, everything will move. They will look at things differently. They will embrace, because that is what God has given us. They will nurture, because that is our God-given responsibilities. They will care, because that is what God calls us to do. And they will embrace, because that is what God wants us to do. And we learn all these things so that it is easy for us to know how to extend grace to one another when you don't understand them. Don't try to figure people out. Just ask God for the grace to work with them, to understand them at their level. And also it helps us wisdom to avoid overstepping and conflicting with others frequently. Don't be that woman that is always, whenever you're around people, everyone thinks like they're walking on eggshells because it's you, they overstep or you overstep their bounds too much. And also grace to admit when we are wrong. Sometimes it's not easy to accept when you're wrong. It can be hard, because sometimes it's because of pride. Sometimes it's because, again, of our backgrounds, because we never saw people apologizing and accepting to their mistakes. And also grace to accept change. Whenever change comes, then how do we flow with it? Like now, with women, we are talking about generational gaps. When these gaps are there, from the younger one to the older one, then how do we accept this is how change is? How do we then camouflage into their situation and understand them and help them from where they stand from? Now I'm very excited to bring in my favorite segment, Wisdom from my Mother. Things I have learned from my older women and my mother, my biological mother. So my mom once told me, women are strong and daring. Women are strong and daring. Every woman has something to offer. You just need to look for it within you. It's all within you. It is all within you. Just look for it. No matter how small you think it is, you don't know how it can bless someone else. Whether big, whether small, just impact in your own capacity. And don't wait for others. Just be that intentional woman to do what you think is right for you. Remember, this is Woman with Intent. Please subscribe, like, share as much as you can. Let's impact one another. During our next episode, we'll be tackling a girl who was raised by a present father, a present intentional father. See you then.